Hey guys, welcome back to Kumasai Reviews. I'm TJ, and what we're taking a look at is Maketoys MTCD-01 Striker Manus. This is the first in their Cross Dimensions series of toys. Pretty cool stuff. Going over what comes in the box, the comic, the card, the instructions, and of course the figure and his iconic blaster. So taking a look at the figure itself here for a second. Knock out the measurement right away. About 7.5 inches tall. Actually right on the button there. So it does come with some cool stuff. I love that it comes with a full-on comic. Not unsimilar to a lot of the Mastermind Creation stuff. The art is pretty cool. It's nice to get a heads up on what makes these characters look like they look and things like that. And in the back, they do have some previews of current characters, upcoming characters, things like that. You've got Manus, Striker Manus, Hummel, which is obviously Bumblebee. You can see Downbeat, as well as Hellfire and Gundog. Now those are different than their remaster designs, for Hellfire and Gundog at least. In the back you've got Despotron, Meteor, Pursuer. I don't know who Pursuer is supposed to be, Meteor, Starscream. But in the back it gets pretty interesting. Armored up versions of Meteor, Skycrow, which was actually introduced in the Defender bio from Fans Project, so that's Skywarp, Thundercracker, Lightning, but they're all armored with different parts of Dinobots. So that's interesting. You even see Grimlock's head through Meteor's sword. Right, quick look at the box itself. I really like the layout. And you can tell from the comics, from the box, things like that, they're just putting a lot of care into the presentation of all of this. They really wanted to feel special, high-end, things like that. And even on the review itself, I think I'm going to go ahead and just scan all the comics and things like that, put them on there. But taking a look at the card here, it does have an AR token, which you can download, QR code for Despotron. Give you a 3D measurement of him. And now we're taking a look at Striker Manus himself. Again, measures to about 7.5 inches tall. Just a roundabout here. And just overall, good looking figure. I like the Cybertronian style design. And it's cool to see a third party company take its own take rather than just this version of the canon Optimus. It's neat. I apologize for the tilt here, but getting a good pan down, pan up. I don't know what was going on with the camera there. It looks like it's been resolved. Right. We can actually take a look at its posability here. And I like the ball jointed head because he has a lot of up and down look. Now the shoulders, full swing. And you've got that extended upward. Not double jointed, but it goes past 90 degrees on the elbow bend there, which is awesome. 360 waist swivel. And this is where it gets cool. He's got this sick ab crunch. Take a look at that. Extracurricular ab crunch. It's pretty crazy. Alright. We're taking a look at the wrist here, as well as the fists themselves. 360 wrist swivel. Alright. It has posable fingers. Not multi-jointed, but separate trigger finger. Decent, but not really necessary. Cool to see. But again, extracurricular. I'd rather have too much posability than not enough. Now the smokestack axe popped off. I'm just showing that these do hold on really tight. Kind of a freak accident there. You can actually pick it up by the stacks. Don't recommend it because if you break it, not my fault. Not buying you another one. Taking a look at the hips here. Full hip swing. Hip swivel. And even well past 90 degrees. Very good amount of ankle tilt. And the fronts of his feet do pose. by themselves. Meaning there is a joint in there. Get some forward swing. And there you go. He has an awesome A stance, especially with the ab crunch and things like that. Now just taking a look at the knee bend, things like that. Posing him around a little bit, having some fun. And it's cool to get that non-transforming posability out of a transforming toy. It's not something you see very often at all. And I hope that this continues with this line. I hope it becomes a trend for third-party toys in general. That would be awesome. And at $80, this is a steal. Look at what you're getting. And the plastic quality is just phenomenal. There aren't hollow pieces, thin, flimsy plastics. It's a well-made toy. Alright. And now taking a look at his weapons here. You can see they are actually really tight. I was not lying about that, these axes. I just wish that there was a way, because I love the way the smokestacks look on his shoulder, that you could have some kind of smokestack while he's holding the axes, but, you know, first world problems. Now there is an extra little lip in the back of his palm that the weapons slide into. He could hold them without. You can just grip it tight because the fingers are, that joint is really tight, but it's best if you do it the right way. Okay. So there's an axe. Just go ahead and get him into a pose here. Alright, and while I'm doing that, do you need to mention TF Source does have this on pre-order right now. It's scheduled for later September. They've got it at $79.99, which again, it's a steal for this item. It's crazy. Alright. We're just getting the other axe into the other hand. And each axe on the bottom of the blade end has a peg, and they peg into each other and form like a double-ish weapon. Not really my favorite thing, not gonna lie. Aesthetically, it doesn't look that good to me, but it does it. Again, one of those things where it's like first world problems, too much rather than not enough. Right, getting them pegged into each other there. Just gotta find that sweet spot. There we go. Picture of him holding it real quick. Now his arms, he does have some inward bend, but unlike Ori Toy, Optimus, or anything like that, he doesn't have something to flex so his arms can truly reach across each other. So there's not a ton that you can do with the double blade, but it looks cool. And of course, the iconic blaster. It's like one of those things that's similar, not similar to the blaster that came with Classics Optimus, and we'll do a comparison, so don't worry. He's going to be in this too. But standard blaster. And I will say, overall, these joints extremely tight. I was kind of worried because I got to play around with the samples and things like that at TFCon, actually last month, July 2016, and there were some floppy points, but no, 110% fixed. In fact, some areas are annoying tight. Not gonna break tight, but again, rather have too much than not enough. And blasting the camera, because that's what we do. Because we're professionals. Now, I saw somebody on TFW ask, does he hold 5mm pegs? The answer is yes. Pretty tight, gotta open the hands first, but they do fit in there. And the tightness between the thumb and the palm really helps. And it's a good tight fit too. There he is. Follow Cybertron Grimlock sword. Hasbro release. And here we go. Comparison time. He's 7.5 inches. And the Classics Optimus is right around 6. And it's crazy because, again, these toys are similar, not similar. It's like Classics Optimus Prime grew up, which is awesome. Because when it comes to the Classics line, Optimus Prime, definitely one of the best releases of it. Just get a front-on view. And these are both classic scale. Optimus Prime is just a bit more proper. Alright, and this is TFX, I believe it's 06, the Parallax armor. And that is yet to be released. Don't take that as the final version. I saw another one at TFCon that does have some changes to it. Just a comparison. They're about the same height. I don't think there's any contest in terms of style, but to each their own. Now, for a masterpiece comparison, this is Oritoy, Hero of Steel Optimus Prime. It's about 9 inches, the exact same height as MP10, for anybody wondering. So nowhere near masterpiece scale, for anybody asking, because that's the question. Is this masterpiece scale? Now, if you want to see how he looks next to a bunch of Optimus Prime toys, by all means, here you go. That big guy in the back, of course, Ultimetal Optimus Prime, one of the best Transformer toys ever made. Okay, now we're getting them transformed. One thing to note, the smokestacks, they are not on the shoulders right now. You don't need to take them off at all. So I'll get those on later in the transformation, but that's not a thing. Remember to get those hips shifted to the side, like you can see there. And then just loosen the shelling on the calf portion of the legs. Bring it all up. It's one of those double hinges. Pretty common. Alright, now you got Little Person Prime. Alright. Now we're getting the feet pegged into place. One thing that I do not show on this review, there's a little gray peg on the underside of this. It's going to be underneath the wheel here that needs to get pegged in. You can see it right by my fingers on the bottom. See that by the wheel? You got to get that gray piece pegged in too. Doesn't affect it too much, but the wheels won't be aligned. Alright, but again, remember that gray peg, as well as the blue peg that I'm showing right here. And you should be good to go. It's going to look pretty much the same, but the wheel alignment. You won't really notice it until the end. Alright, those two pieces on the hips. Bring them down. Bring the legs together. We show the two peg points. The shoulders, bring them up and into each other. Alright, he extends at the rib cage there. Use that ab tilt. And the top half of the torso turns around. Pretty good stuff. And this is all pretty simple. Alright, bring that head back. The grill, bring it down. The wheels, bring them down. Alright. And there's a piece below the grill that kind of has the indents and stuff like that too, so you'll see how the pieces in front of the wheel are supposed to line up. And then that piece behind the head just pegs in. On the underside of the forearms, bring those flaps out. You saw I rotated the wrist there. Bring those in, so you have the palms facing inwards while they're in. And you don't put those flaps back down. You actually leave them out. That's part of the transformation. Or better said, parts of the truck cab. Okay. So flipping those forearms in, bring the shoulders back down. Right. Now this is a hinge joint. And the bicep unclips and you bring that in. That's not the elbow joint. Again, that's the bicep that unclips. Again, bring it back. The bicep, not the elbow. Bring the whole thing in. Okay. You can see it's a little bit high. That also swings down. That piece that the shoulder's attached to. That swing joint. All right. And you saw my finger just bring it down that way. We're going over where it pegs in. On the other side of the shoulder there. Alright, 2 more peg points. The other side's already pegged in. Boom. That tank piece. Boom. Now, in terms of filling out these leg portions, there are 2 peg points there. One is that slit by the bicep, and the other is that tank. So a double hinge. Bring it out, bring it forward. It's easiest if you peg in the tank first. The other part will just kind of automatically go into place. There you go. Easy peasy, and we're almost done. This is a very simple transformation. Okay, so grill in, and then the windows up. The windows are attached to the forearm. Not as clunky as Classic Optimus by any means, but you can see where they peg in there. Pointed it out, and then bring that grill in. And if you see any gap in where the forearms meet the grill kind of outlines where the forearm should be, so just kind of push those into place. Alright. And last part here, just getting the gun transform, bring that end piece down, the barrel, push that all in. Now the back piece of the gun, bring that out, that's going to be the wind vane. And the rest of that kibble, you can see, 90-degree angle. And it's pretty blatant how it goes on. There are 2 pegs that go in those 2 parts up top. All that goes back. Just fiddle with it until you can bring it forward and peg it in. And boom, there you go. Striker Manus in cab mode. Cybertronian cab. And here it is, just giving you guys a roundabout. Round and around and around and around and around. Alright. So it's about 6.25 inches front to back. Here's the comparison to the Classic Optimus Prime. This is a Voyager scale one. We rotated with them earlier. And I still love the all mode of Classic Optimus Prime. Overall, as a toy, this is better, but I do dig that all mode of Classic Optimus. It's clean. Space Cab. And what's crazy is front to back, they're like the exact same size still. Exact same length, that is. And there you go. That's that comparison knocked out for you. And again, this has been Maketoys MTCD-01 Striker Manus, the first in their cross-dimension line of toys. I give it a thumbs up. It's awesome. Check out my Pictorial review coming soon, kumastyle.com. Order yours at TF Source, $79.99. You guys have a great one. Thanks for watching.